Jim, this was sort of the idea. I mean, you're taking the tour here 25 years later.
Yeah, the idea is that we've got football camp going on throughout the Big Ten. It is the 100th anniversary of the Rose Bowl, 100th game at the Rose Bowl. It's my 25th year. It's the Big Ten's 118th football season, so I thought it was a good idea to get on campus to see the players, to see the coaches, and to just get a good up-close view of the preparation. So it's the players are energized, the coaches are energized. We're at Indiana yesterday, Ohio State today, Penn State tomorrow, then Michigan State in Michigan. And so, you know, I'm going to do it over the next couple weeks. I've got some Rose Bowl meetings out in California next week, but when I come back, I'll finish up the 12th.
This place was sort of in tumult a couple of years ago and stuff because of what happened. What's just your general impression of the program and where it's kind of come back in urban and stuff?
Well, I think this. You know, I think Ohio State is not only stabilized, but is on a strong trajectory forward. The case was an unfortunate case. People made some mistakes, but you know what I was always so confident in is the leadership at the institution. The president, the athletic director, the faculty, board of trustees did everything right. They reported what they knew when they knew it. There was no delay in that. Obviously, they accepted their sanctions, moved forward. They've got a new coach in Coach Meyer, who's, you know, been successful every place he's been. He's from the state of Ohio, so the leadership there is powerful, and the Buckeyes, I'm sure, have high expectations for themselves. But you know, that's why we play the games, and it's going to be just a great year. I think there's some great storylines. Braxton Miller, fabulous player, and he's surrounded by a great group of players. This is maybe the ultimate team sport, and so no single player, no single unit can be successful unless the whole group is. But it was great to be out here today. It was great to have an opportunity to address the team, and we're heading for Penn State in about a half hour. So,
what'd you say to him?
Standing pat on expansion. You happy where you are?
We're really happy where we are. We're working full speed on integration for 2014 of Maryland, Rutgers. They're obviously chasing championships and trying to graduate kids this year, so they'll be totally focused on ACC and Big East. But you know, we're working hard to build friendships and relationships in the East. I'll be spending a lot of time out there. It's a very high priority for us. We did I think a great job of integrating Nebraska, and I think we'll do well out in the Eastern Corridor.
Jim, you have the fan support, you have the television, you have the money coming in from that, and everything that's at the top of everybody, but in 45 years, the Big Ten's won 2 national championships, and the SEC's won 9 in the last 15 years. Just what's it going to take to bridge this gap? You know,
I think the challenges are always great coaches, great players winning big games, and so we've had a lot of opportunities to play in big games. We've won some, we've missed on others, but I think with the resources that we have the commitment on the academic and athletic side to do it the way that we think is the right way. I think as far as academics and athletics, we're the gold standard. We pursue championships in every sport, including football and basketball. We've won 17 championships, national championships in different sports in the last 15 years. So we're directed at championships. As far as the coaching is concerned, the recruiting is concerned, it happens at ground zero. You know, it really doesn't happen in Chicago or even in Birmingham. It happens, you know, here in Columbus. It happens at Michigan. It happens at Penn State. And I know that they're all geared to win championships. Sometimes you get on a run, and sometimes you get close and you don't get it. You take your hats off to those who do win. You respect them for what they've done, and you continue to chase the brass ring. I think that's what athletics is about.
Are you concerned, whatever, I mean, it seems like every other day you look up, there's something new in the paper about a scandal here or a thing going on there. I mean, you know, what happened at LSU, what, you know, Johnny Manziel's under investigation right now. Just what's your take on that?
My take on it is human nature probably hasn't changed very much. I think that the understanding and the coverage of human nature has changed dramatically. Maybe in the last 20 years, you know, we went from sport that was local or regional to one that's national, one that had 3 networks covering it, and now it's got, you know, all the major networks, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. And so I just think that people, individuals, young people and older people have to conform their conduct, because I think more and more is public, and really we're all human beings who make mistakes. I try not to judge because for the most part, as you know, we don't have the facts. What we have is a little bit of information on a lot of situations. It's sometimes a half-inch deep and 4 miles wide. But I think you guys have a job to do, which is to cover things that are interesting for the public. The public is passionate about college football. It doesn't make a difference if the kids are 18, 19, or 20. They're still public figures. And so I think what we're really doing is seeing the convergence of a passionate fan base with uber coverage and human beings making mistakes. So I don't get too carried away with it. I think what we've really wrought is probably this college football is the second most popular sport in the country. It used to share space with NBA, Major League Baseball, hockey. NFL has been at the top of the heap for a long time. College football is continuing in an upward trajectory, and there are a lot of people involved. I mean, there's 100 times 100. So there are a lot of young people, and I just think part of it is quite natural. And coaches I know do the best they can to coach them, to recruit them, to parent them, to discipline them when necessary. But there's an awful lot of information, quite honestly, that gets out prematurely, and sometimes taints the player, and ultimately the player's not guilty of the offense. But that has to be worked through in a fair way by the institution, the team, and the coach, and we work at that.
Jim, do you think that a rules relaxation where there's some sort of stipend for players would help modify some of that human behavior that you talk about?
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't want to go into the detail. I laid a 4-point plan at the Big Ten luncheon a few weeks ago. So I think a miscellaneous expense is helpful. Certainly, I think a long-term commitment to education by the institution to the player would be helpful. I think we need to think about the time demand issue, especially for at-risk students. So I'm for support of the player up to the cost of attendance. Beyond that, I'm not. I've said it many times. No need to say it again. But those issues will be sorted out by the courts and not by people in the NCAA and ultimately Congress. We've got Title IX. We've got lawsuits in course in cases. I've got my position on it. I've stated, been pretty consistent for the times I've been in intercollegiate athletics. I've been a beneficiary of an education that was meaningful. My father was. I see the 10,000 athletes in the Big Ten. I see the successes that many of them are having, and I'll fight to protect that. I think it's a pretty good opportunity for kids.
What do you think of the Night Commission recommendation yesterday that the football super conference be formed?
I haven't had a chance to look at it or even read it. It's on my iPhone, but I haven't had a chance to take a look at it.
Jim, I don't know if the coaches have been able to shift their minds to a 9-game league schedule, but that's on the horizon as well.
Yeah.
What are your early returns on that?
Well, we think it's good for the conference. We think it's good for the fan. We think it's good for college football in general, especially as we expand and have gotten larger. I think to play each other more binds us together in good ways. And to be honest with you, when we went from 11 to 12 games, I'm not sure that we watched as closely as we should have. People like a home game, they like a home win, and I think in many ways we were diluting what we were putting forward out there. It's a very competitive marketplace. It's a marketplace where there's a lot of competition for eyeballs. We've got the man cave. A lot of times you can see things pretty well at home. So I think we've got to do things that we can to be as good as we can. And I think the 9-game schedule is a good adjustment, and I think particularly in light of the move to 14 institutions.
What did you tell the team out there when you talked to them?
I didn't tell them anything. I'm not the coach. I just told them that they had a great set of opportunities and privileges, that they were all dependent upon each other, that to be at Ohio State, to play in the Big Ten, to play at this level with the amount of coverage is it's an opportunity, but it's also something that requires people to be on their tiptoes. They have responsibilities to themselves, their teammates, their families, and their coaches, and I wish them good luck.
Jim, in a conference where everybody shares things equally in the Big Ten, how would you describe Ohio State's role in being a flagship athletic program in this conference, and what that role in helping the Big Ten grow and
Ohio State as an institution has been comprehensively good for a very long time. They've got a broad-based program. They've won, I think they're one of 5 institutions, this would be a trivia question for all of you, but one of 5 institutions in the country that have won football and basketball championships. Anybody name the other 4? Michigan State, Florida, Syracuse, and Maryland. So they their record and their achievement speaks for itself. They've got a fabulous fan base, had a lot of success historically, and like a number of our other schools have really powered and been in the middle of growing the Big Ten brand.
What could this team mean for the conference over this season when you look at?
I'm not going to put any onus on any team. Hey, if a Big Ten team wins the championship, it would be great in any sport. This team is highly ranked, but I think the coach would tell you that their expectations are probably higher than any fan or pundit or poll.
Last year, the BCS, good riddance, or are you going to miss it? I mean,
not for me. You know me. Don't forget, it's the Rose Bowl, the BCS. You know, when I have a partnership, I don't criticize the partner. I try to grow the partnership. That's why the Rose Bowl is where it is, because the Big Ten, the Pac-12 have stood behind it and built it. So that's why it's integrated into the playoff. I think it's natural. We had, what, 15 years with the BCS. Took a lot of criticism, but it brought college football to another level. The controversy, the enthusiasm, the passion that it engendered, I think led to the 4-team playoff. It was evolutionary, but I think we're really pleased with it. The way it came out, we've got a committee instead of computers. We've got strength of schedule, which is part of the 9-game commitment, as well as winning championships that are going to be tiebreakers, and we have the Rose Bowl embedded in it. So for us, it's a good compromise. I think it's going to be great for our players and for our coaches. So,
couple more questions.
The Big Ten Network, with the ongoing thing with Maryland and Rutgers, there's a lot of Big Ten fans other than Maryland and Rutgers fans that live in those areas. Are you concerned about disenfranchising those people, or what do you see happening over the next 18 months?
I'm not in favor of disenfranchising any people. Okay, I'm about building a network and providing the most amount of interesting, compelling games to our fans. I think we've done it. The Big Ten Network was not an easy berth. A lot of you covered it. A lot of you had comments about it. I think it's been a successful network, as successful as any other college network. We're in over 50 million homes. I think we have an opportunity to grow it out east. I don't think it'll be automatic, but we do have 1 million Big Ten people, including Rutgers and Maryland, living in that corridor. So we have great brand awareness there. There are a lot of great athletes. I've said it. We're a conference in 2 regions now. We're in the Midwest and we're in the Eastern Corridor. Every major conference is now outside the historic region. I don't think Texas and Missouri are part of the historic SEC footprint, nor do I think Utah and Colorado are part of the Pac-12, and certainly Indiana, Pennsylvania, New York, Massachusetts, and Florida are not part of the ACC. That's the new world we live in. Things are a little bit larger. You have to work even harder to build your conference in the new areas, but I'm confident that we've got a lot of awareness in that region. There are a lot of great students, student athletes, faculty members that will be able to grow with it and get better. Partnerships are about both entities getting better. I think we'll get better, and I think Maryland and Rutgers will get better as a result of the partnership.
Do you see those conferences become, the big school conferences become, an entity of their own, and what's the future of the NCAA tournament?
The NCAA tournament, I think, is in great shape. It's one of the best events in the world, and I think it'll stay as it is. I think there will be some adjustment within the NCAA, I should say. I'd be shocked if it wasn't within the NCAA. How it actually gets reconfigured, I'm not 100% sure. I think we're going to have a lot of conversations with our colleagues, but I don't think that anybody is looking to do anything negative to the NCAA men's basketball tournament.
Jimmy, can the Big Ten ever get too big, or will you always be open to programs that could potentially make this conference better?
I would just say we're 100% focused on integrating Maryland and Rutgers. We always stay alert, but we're not active, and we haven't been active since we added Rutgers and Maryland. So, what you do is we stayed at 11 members for 20 years. So obviously we weren't compelled to expand. We went to a 12th member. We even explored the relationship with the Pac-12 on the collaboration. It didn't work. Then expansion continued around us. People came into our territory. Other people were on the fringes. And we thought that it was better for us to expand than to stay where we were. And I would just say, if you look at expansion in general over the 20-year period with Penn State, Nebraska, Rutgers, and Maryland, I think we're positioned quite well for the 21st century.
About it.